Pennsylvania's 48th governor. Welcome, Governor Shapiro.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It is wonderful to be back at Ag Progress Days, and I want to just say to your incredible president here at Penn State, you can feel her energy, and I want you to know that even when she's got to wear those suits and be in the business meetings and all that, she just was at one at the governor's residence with me a couple weeks ago. She's wearing that Think Ag button everywhere she goes. She believes in it. She leads that way. Her authenticity is real, and I'm proud to be your partner. Thank you for hosting us here today. I'm proud to be back, and I'm especially proud to be here today for the first time as your governor, as the 48th governor of this great Commonwealth, just a few months into my term. You know, I talk about it all the time and in all the places, just how important agriculture is, not just to the heritage of this great Commonwealth, but it is a key driver of our economy today and in the future. I think a lot about our history. I think a lot about the awesome responsibility that's been bestowed upon me for this period of time, trying to learn more about our rich traditions, to celebrate them, and to learn from them, to think about the direction we need to go in. I thought about it just the other day in Lancaster when I was at Silver Valley Farm, a 10th generation family farm. I think about it there. I think about it in big agriculture producing factories and settings. I think about how we need to make sure both are included in the future success of our Commonwealth, that each are important and that we have to build on each in order to make progress as a Commonwealth. I think a lot about this event too, because this is where agricultural innovation gets highlighted. I think it's a beautiful place, and I thought it was beautiful the way President Bendapudi talked about this being the love letter to our agriculture sector. I think it truly is a love letter to our farmers and others. You see, here at Penn State, the Penn State College of Agriculture Science, y'all have been a longtime pioneer of agriculture science, not just here in the Commonwealth, but across our country. And I know you all understand that important tradition and our rich history. Penn State, of course, offered the first bachelor degree for agriculture studies in the nation way back in 1861. Again, thinking about our history so we can chart our path forward well into a prosperous future. Today, Penn State continues that legacy as a world leader of ag research and training, driving innovation in the agriculture community, providing a hub for our farmers and research institutions to both share resources and to share know-how. You can see it all around us today and over these few days, how Penn State is connecting our farmers here in each of our 67 counties and indeed all across the globe. The reach is worldwide. Listen, I am so proud of Penn State's history, so proud of all you've done. And you need to know I'm a Pitt dad, so for me to say that, that's a big deal. It's a big deal, and I couldn't be more excited to represent you as your governor. That legacy, that work that you have done over so many years has fueled the economic progress of our Commonwealth since our founding. Look, Pennsylvania, we all know, is home to about 53,000 farms that cover 7.5 million acres and support 1 in 10 jobs across our great Commonwealth. Every year, our ag sector contributes $132 billion to our economy. I think that's great, but I'm competitive as hell. I want it to be $150 billion. It should be 1 in 8 or 1 in 9 jobs. I'm proud of the fact that we're #1 in mushrooms, but we shouldn't be #3 in certain organics. We should be #1 there as well. I want to be #1 in everything right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and we're going to build that because of your hard work and our collective determination. And to build that, we got to be smart. We got to be focused on the research, the kind of research that's happening here at Penn State can take us even further. And importantly, we need to connect the dots between what happens on our farms, what happens in our labs researching AI, what happens in our workforce, what happens in our elementary schools and in our high schools. All of those dots need to be connected. And that's the vision that I'm trying to bring to this office, and this vision I'm trying to bring at this important moment in our Commonwealth. That is the focus of my work. Let me explain the granularity of that. I believe if we want to grow our economy, if we want to create jobs, then we must invest in our farms and in our agriculture sector. They are inextricably linked. They have to be put together. Too often times in our history, notwithstanding our great heritage, agriculture has been left out of conversations about economic growth and development. Yes, we have focused on life sciences. Yes, we have focused on manufacturing, correctly so. But agriculture must be in the same sentence as that every single time we talk about growing our economy and creating more prosperity. In my first 7 months as your governor, we've tried to change that conversation and make sure agriculture is at the center of everything we do. As Secretary Redding knows, it is critically important that we have a direct line between our farmers, what they do every single day, the food we eat on our kitchen tables, and our individual prosperity and freedom. And I just want to take a moment in front of all of you to thank Secretary Redding for letting me convince him to not retire when he had the opportunity to. We're grateful to have you back. Thank you. He is an extraordinary leader, someone who teaches me something every single day, and someone who I am proud to serve as a senior member of my cabinet. Look, he understands like I do, when we connect the dots between our farmers, our universities like Penn State, the latest technology, and our workforce, we can have remarkable growth. Here's just a couple of examples. A couple months ago, I had the opportunity to visit a place called Little Leaf Farms in Carbon County for their grand opening of their new 10-acre greenhouse, an expansion that is going to make them the largest CEA lettuce grower in the world. Not in Pennsylvania, not in the nation, but in the world. Little Leaf supports about 200 jobs in McAdoo, and they are developing innovative and sustainable ways to make us a leader on lettuce production. Technology, farming, coming together and focused on creating prosperity and opportunity. Our Commonwealth was proud to invest about $4 million to help bring Little Leaf Farms' vision to life, to help them make it a reality. But this is just one example of what we can accomplish when we work together. In June, I had the chance to visit Brett Reinford's dairy farm in Juniata County, where they have installed a methane digester to turn waste into enough power for their farm and for a neighboring community. The Commonwealth also helped Reinford Farm to make that investment, so they could not only grow their dairy farming operation, but they could keep more waste out of landfills and power communities nearby. It's a win-win, and it's an example of how we've got to bring tech and farming closer together and how the Commonwealth needs to make these smart investments going forward. Government should be a support to business and farmers, not a barrier. But I'm here to tell you, in the presence of many leading lawmakers who are here with us today, we can't just simply throw money at this. We have to invest smart, and we have to move quickly. So let's talk a little bit about how we propose to move quickly. In just my first couple weeks in office, I signed an executive order to improve our licensing, permitting, and application process so that will no longer prevent hardworking Pennsylvanians, hardworking farmers from getting their businesses, getting their farms off the ground, or getting them to expand. Let me tell you something. We have already made progress since I signed that executive order. I'll give you just one example. If you're going for some sort of corporate filing, the day I took office in January, It took 8 weeks to get that done in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You know what it takes today? 3 days to get that license. That is one example of the progress we are making when it comes to our licensing and permit process. And hear me on this. I'm very serious about this. We are about to publish a list of each and every one of the 2,400 permits, licenses, and applications that this Commonwealth issues. And next to each and every one of them, you will see a time certain that you will get an answer. So if you apply for a license, it's supposed to take 14 days, it will say 14 days next to it. And you know what happens? If we don't hit that 14th day, if we go into day 15, we will give you all your money back for your application fee. A money-back guarantee. And let me tell you something. I'm competitive as hell. I don't want to give any of you your money back. We're going to get this done on time, and we are working quickly to make sure you have the tools you need. There have been 2 secretaries helping lead this effort for us, and they're both here today. The aforementioned Secretary Redding, but it's also important for you to know, because I know you interact with the Department of Environmental Protection quite a bit in your operations. I'm proud to be joined today by Secretary Negrin. It is not often that a DEP secretary comes to Ag Progress Days. He is here today, and he is committed to speeding up the process so you can get your permits more quickly. We can protect public safety, protect public health, protect our environment, and move quickly. And Secretary Negrin and Secretary Redding are doing just that. Thank you. That's just one way we're making progress for our farmers and for agriculture here in Pennsylvania. At every step in our recent budget negotiations, I doubled down on the importance of investing in ag. I made clear that that was a key priority for me as we went into our negotiations with the legislature. That's why the budget I signed last week fully funds Pennsylvania's Farm Bill in its 5th year and also includes major new investments to help farmers deal with the many challenges that they face today, including high-path avian influenza. This budget includes another $34 million in our state's high-path avian influenza recovery fund to make sure that our poultry farmers are made whole if they lose birds to high-path avian influenza. In addition to that, my vision and our budget opens up new markets for our farmers, providing funds for a new organic center of excellence that will boost resources available to Pennsylvania's diverse plant industries. It includes new investments in a fresh food financing initiative, which improves access to Pennsylvania-grown and processed and produced foods. Together, we funded our state food purchase program, which provides emergency goods assistance for low-income Pennsylvanians. Together, Democrats and Republicans made meaningful investments in agriculture and meaningful investments in the good people of Pennsylvania. That's not all, though. We are working hard in my administration to put real capital in our rural communities because we know that our farmers need thriving communities as well for workforce and for their own quality of life. That's why we now have a plan and the funding to connect all 326,000 homes and businesses, churches, and VFWs that don't have high-speed, affordable internet right now, to connect them within the next 5 years here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We are going to get this done and make sure you're connected to high-speed internet. We're also making investments in rural health care to make sure you have the resources you need, and on workforce and training opportunities to prepare the next generation of workers. If we want to thrive in ag and we want to grow our economy, let's be real, we have to grow our workforce. I believe, and hear me on this, we need to teach agriculture skills in our high schools as part of our VOTEC curriculum. That's right. Every student, every person in this Commonwealth should have the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed. That's why our budget that I recently signed into law significantly increases our investment in VOTEC and expanding it to more rural communities. This is common sense stuff that if we invest today, we will have the workforce we need of tomorrow. That's the kind of work they're doing at a place called the LEAF Project. in Perry County. My amazing wife, Lori, our First Lady, was there just last week. And to be clear, not for a photo op, she was in the dirt with her hands, no gloves, working with these incredible students from disadvantaged backgrounds on learning agriculture and culinary skills that will allow them to start successful careers in those industries. We need to invest in those students. We need to invest in the next generation. Those of you who are working today, I know you're concerned about the pipeline of workers tomorrow. We invest today, you will have that pipeline opened up tomorrow. I am passionate about building, rebuilding, and expanding our workforce, and I believe that that future success runs right through the farms all across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now look, we've accomplished a lot. I'm also mindful that there's some unfinished business still in our state capitol. I hope the General Assembly will come back from their summer recess soon and finally pass funding for Penn State and our other state-related institutions. They deserve that funding. It's critical, and we need it right now. And while that business remains unfinished, it is important to take note that Democrats and Republicans are working together. We're embracing common sense solutions. And I know when we do that, and we lead that way together, we can get big things done. I also know when you invest in a place like Penn State, it pays dividends for the good people of Pennsylvania. So I hope they will send that bill to my desk soon so I can sign it and we can drive those resources out to all of you here. Now, in addition to the work in our state capitol, I've been keeping a close eye on what's happening in our U.S. Capitol. And this is where I want to close. Right now in Washington, D.C., the Congress of the United States is negotiating a federal farm bill, which is going to provide a significant amount of support here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and all across this country for our farmers and our ag industry. I know we are collectively proud that for the first time in over a century, we have a Pennsylvanian at the table, quite literally writing and leading on this bill. And I couldn't be more proud that Congressman G.T. Thompson is with us today. That's right. Now, Congressman, I want you to know I talk a lot about you behind your back. So I'm glad to be able to talk about you to your face, which is to say, and I've told room after room after room this is one of the most important people in the nation right now for our farmers, and he's from right here in Pennsylvania. He shares our values. He understands our heritage, and we've had many conversations where we both agree that the future of this Commonwealth and this country runs right through our farmlands. And we need to make sure he has the support, the know-how, the knowledge, the backing that he needs to go and negotiate a hell of a farm bill for all of us. Congressman, we appreciate your leadership very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. So, look, our administration is going to continue to partner with Republicans and Democrats in the legislature, partner with great institutions like Penn State, of course, partner with our ag industry and our great farmers all across this Commonwealth. This should be a place where everyone has the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed. And the rich history that you stand on, the legacy that you have today to learn from and that you will leave behind will contribute to that fight for prosperity, contribute to that fight for our collective freedom and opportunity. This is a moment where we have to come together to show respect for that heritage, show respect for our farmers, and think big about our investments in the future and how they can leave an indelible mark on the future of this great Commonwealth and through that, this nation. It's my honor to serve as the 48th governor of this Commonwealth and to be back here with all of you today. I salute the work you do, and I'm proud to be your partner. Thank you all very, very much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor Shapiro. It's now my pleasure to introduce Glenn Thompson, but I'm not sure how much more I can embellish from what the governor already said. But I do feel very fortunate that we have the Farm Bill update from Glenn Thompson. As you may know, he was first elected to Congress in 2008, representing the state's 5th congressional district, redistricted in 2018 to the 15th. He served since 2019, and with the seniority he gained, he's become the chair of the House Agriculture Committee. And I'm going to tip you a little bit on this one. The other statistic we like to quote is that he's the first chairman of the House Agriculture Committee in 170 years from Pennsylvania. First one, so it's truly an historic tenure as chairman of the House Agriculture Committee. And I also know from interacting with Glenn on many occasions that he takes his business of the Farm Bill seriously and seeks to deliver a meaningful Farm Bill with bicameral and bipartisan support. And for that, we should all be very grateful. Glenn Thompson.
Rick, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. And welcome to Ag Progress. Isn't this great? This is the 53rd Ag Progress here. Thank you to my alma mater, Penn State, for being a leader for over a half a century. Been a leader a lot longer than that, but this event in itself, which really highlights and profiles what agriculture, the industry of agriculture really is, right? Science, technology, and innovation. And so I'm just thrilled to be here. Dean Roush, thank you so much. Governor, thank you for your leadership and those very kind words. I just wish my wife was here to have heard that. All right. President Bendapudi, Neely, thank you. Thank you for choosing Penn State to be able to come here. And for the trustees, well done. Great decision. You know, there are a lot of statistics thrown out there. First member of Congress and from Pennsylvania, nearly 170 years, the chair of the House Agriculture Committee. I'm actually the third. We had the first one in 1820. We had one just prior to the Civil War. I'm not saying that person had anything to do with the Civil War. And then I have the privilege of serving as the third or the 53rd, actually, chairman overall of the House Agriculture Committee. But I think one of the things I'm most proud of is being the first graduate of this great land-grant university to serve the House Agriculture Committee. I have said it 1,000 times, and I've said it all across Pennsylvania and across this great nation. I've got one goal, but thousands of objectives when it comes to the Farm Bill, and that is that this Farm Bill will be a bipartisan, bicameral, on time, and highly effective. Now, I want to qualify the on time. I only have control over the House Agriculture Committee. We are doing our job with due diligence, and we would be ready to go despite the fact that this bill technically expires the end of September. The highly effective part, though, is the part I want to really focus on. You know, I actually believe anybody could write a Farm Bill and get it passed. If you watered it down to the point where it was irrelevant and meaningless, anybody could get a piece of legislation across the finish line. That's not what we're doing. We're working hard to make this not just highly effective, but a transformational Farm Bill. How do we do that? We do that by bringing the voices of the farm team to the table. Now, who's the farm team? Everybody in this room. Everybody in this room is involved in agriculture. You're a supporter. You're here at Ag Progress. You may be involved in the executive branch side, the legislative branch, the academic side. You may be our future leaders that I'm looking at over here, the next generation of those who provide us food and fiber and building materials and energy resources. You may be on the legislative side with my friends from Harrisburg that work so hard to advance great legislative policy. Or you may be the consumer or the farmer or actually the farm family that does the hard work. We're going to make this a highly effective Farm Bill because we've been working hard to bring all those voices to the table when it comes to the 2023 Farm Bill. You don't want us writing a Farm Bill just listening to the voices from inside the Beltway of Washington. Trust me, it wouldn't work out well. I can point to a few pieces of legislation that are symptomatic of that. So we're not going to let that happen. We're bringing those voices. We have probably set, I know we have set records in terms of the amount of input that we've had in terms of the portal for the public for getting input, for our members of Congress, both sides of the aisle. It's in agriculture, it's one team. Whether it's been the hearings that I've chaired or the listening sessions I've conducted, crisscrossing the state of Pennsylvania, and quite frankly, visiting 53 states, or more than 55 state visits. Some of those are duplicates, but 31 different states as of today. And so, all that has been so incredibly important. I want to say thank you to Dean Roush. We were able to do something I'm not sure has happened before in a Farm Bill process, where I was able to go and spend 3 hours with him and his team in the Agriculture Science Department, talking about title by title, all 12 titles. And Secretary Redding, who was so kind to be able to provide the opportunity to visit him in his office, and he brought in his team, and quite frankly, the team from Human Services that handles the nutrition side of the Farm Bill, to be able to really hear from each one of them, title by title. And it's so appreciative. And that's just a comprehensive approach, using what God has given us in order to develop this farm bill. And that includes the fact that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So when we do a listening session, my hardest job is convincing members of Congress to shut up and sit still and listen. In fact, I'm going to put on my resume that I was able to get, for probably the first time in history, when we went to Tulare, California, the Speaker of the House to attend a Farm Bill listening session. And Speaker McCarthy it was great. He showed up early, spent time with farmers and ranchers. He stayed afterwards. And the part that I'm really going to put on my resume for whatever comes next, that I got a Speaker of the House to sit there for 2.5 hours and not say anything. That's a pretty monumental move, actually. I do want to extend an invitation, 2 o'clock today at the college exhibit building. We're going to do our next listening session. It's kind of an open mic event. I would love to have you join and be able to share in just a minute or two what your thoughts on what the needs are, what you see in the next Farm Bill. I invite you to join me on Friday in Maryland at another land-grant university, University of Maryland Eastern Shore. A really good land-grant university, not as great as Penn State. But I'm looking forward to being down there. Since 1890, land-grant university will be hosting me and Dr. Andy Harris. And then invite you all out to Allentown. We're going to be doing one on July 30th at 2 o'clock at the Allentown Fair. And looking forward to going to the Lehigh Valley for that. My definition of agriculture is pretty straightforward and simple. It's 3 words. American agriculture can be defined as science, technology, and innovation. And it always has been. Those early settlers who came into the port of New York, and they unloaded their wagon or built their wagon or bought their wagon, and they loaded things up and they headed west. Awful lot of them early on, they stopped in Pennsylvania because they looked at the fertile soil, the valleys, the great water sources we had, and they unloaded their wagon and they settled down and put down roots. It's part of our heritage. There are others, I'm convinced, that kept going until the wheels fell off. I've been in some of the places they stopped in, like Yuma, Arizona, before irrigation. Couldn't imagine why anybody on purpose would stop there. Now, with irrigation today, it's a breadbasket. But back 100 and some years ago, forget about it. But even those early settlers, wherever they settled down, they used science and technology. It was very crude. It was rudimentary. It was simple trial and error. But their cause was righteous. Their goal was to raise enough more food so that more family members would survive to the next harvest year. Today, it's very sophisticated, led by great land-grant universities like Penn State universities, the science, the technology, and the innovation. And the really cool part is, it's not static. We're not standing still. It's dynamic. So as great a job as what we do today in American agriculture, it's only going to get better going forward in the future. The 2020 Farm Bill is not just about 2023 through 2028. That's the 5-year reauthorization. This Farm Bill needs to be a platform for the future, a platform for whatever is over the horizon in American agriculture as we approach this, to provide the tools, the research, the support for our land-grant universities to be able to achieve that. I don't know what's over the horizon, but I can tell you this, it's going to be pretty exciting in terms of how this industry provides for the essential needs of every American family. The future is, this Farm Bill is about a robust economy, starting in rural America, but making sure that all of America's economy is robust. It is about growing the rural community. Unfortunately, our number one export for too many years has been our young people. We birth them here, we raise them, we give them great educations, and unfortunately they go elsewhere. We want to make sure that this is the type of place where they want to, if not stay in, at least come back to in short order and put down roots. This Farm Bill is about both food security and farm security. It's about national security. The most slippery slope to national insecurity is food insecurity. This Farm Bill is about a better environment, because that's American agriculture, how we do things. This Farm Bill is about a cleaner climate, because the number one heroes, the climate heroes of the world, actually, are the American farmer, rancher, and forester. You know, with this Farm Bill, we're looking to increase productivity, increase profitability, and increase that farm and food security. And we really do need and must continue to showcase the role that the American farmer plays as climate heroes. You know, we've celebrating, and we won't be static, we can do better than this, but celebrating the 6.1 gigatons of carbon that the American farmer, forester, and rancher sequester in their modern agriculture practices each and every day. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm still not sure how big a gigaton is. Somebody tried to explain it to me, and it was just really big, right? But I had one of my colleagues, we were at he was not paying attention to what I was saying, what tends to happen, and when we were together, and he was Googling gigaton, and he did come back with a little unknown fact that I thought was pretty cool. He said, do you know what the abbreviation for gigaton is? I had no idea. GT. And that's kind of a big deal, so I'm okay with that, you know? But the bottom line is, those American farmers, ranchers, and foresters today, at this moment, sequester 10.1% more carbon than what they admit. There's nobody does it any better anywhere in the world. And we need to tell that story. We need to celebrate that. And let's not be static. Let's look for other tools to help them sequester even more, a higher percentage going forward into the future. This 2023 Farm Bill is about those who produce, those who process, and those who consume. Oh, that would be just everybody in this great nation. The simple truth is, if the American farm family fails, every American family fails. And we can't not allow that to happen. Almost all that we consider essential in our lives is due to the hard work of the nearly 58,000 Pennsylvania farms and the 2 million farms nationwide that this great nation has. They must be the priority as we move forward with this 2023 Farm Bill. Now, the challenges are, there's a few challenges, right? I call it my 3M challenges. First one is minutes. The only commodity we don't manufacture more of or produce more of is minutes, and the clock is ticking. But we are working with such an intensity, we're making up that, we're closing the gap with that. And so we'll be successful with that. It's our members. We have over 200 members in the House and probably another 40 to 50 in the Senate that have never voted on a farm bill, never debated a farm bill. But the amount of education that's going on in both the House and the Senate is incredible. We're taking every opportunity to try to bring people up to speed of exactly what this modern farm bill is, what it's not, and how important it is. And finally, the last M is money. And that is the harder thing in Washington. It's challenging times right now. So needless to say, I'm getting my exercise in Washington lifting rocks. I'm looking at it under every rock I can find in Washington because we do need some new dollars, right? We need to strengthen reference prices. We need to do an increased investment in the trade programs that we have that have a tremendous return on investment, the market access program, the foreign market development program. Quite frankly, we could do a better job investing in research in our land-grant universities because they really at the tip of the spear for the future of American agriculture. So I'm going to get a pretty good workout exercising, lifting these rocks for the foreseeable future. You know, we're working hard, and I'm working hard to overcome all three of these. Time frame, I think that by the end of August, with confidence, I could be ready with language for a 2023 Farm Bill in the House. We have been working with such intensity. Now, when it becomes public and when we're able to do a markup in committee really depends on when I can be guaranteed a week on the House floor. We set our clock by that. And there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of things expire, like the Farm Bill, the end of September. All the appropriation bills, the FFA reauthorization, there's just a tremendous amount there. And so the good news is for leadership on both sides of the aisle, the Farm Bill is a priority. I've never had such unified support for a Farm Bill process, and I feel very blessed by that. Quite frankly, with a firm foundation built on an outstanding Penn State land-grant university education and living in a leading agriculture-producing state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I'm confident that we will produce the Farm Bill that America needs for today, for tomorrow, and quite frankly, for over the horizon. And so what a blessing to be here at Ag Progress. Invite you all to come out to the listening session. I'd like to hear from you. So thank you so much. An honor to be here.
Thank you, Chairman Thompson. And now I'd like to introduce Senator Fetterman, who is a veteran of Ag Progress Days, but is here today representing Pennsylvania in a new capacity. A Pennsylvania native, he grew up in York and earned a master's degree from Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government. In 2005, he was elected the mayor of Braddock, where he served for 13 years. In 2018, he was elected Pennsylvania's lieutenant governor, and in 2022, was elected to the U.S. Senate. And now he's of particular interest and importance to us. He serves on the Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry Committee. Welcome, Senator Fetterman.
Hey, hello everybody. Sometimes with politicians, we read the room, and I'm looking around and I can tell that people are wanting for another 25-minute speech right now, so I'm going to get one ready. Often brevity is a blessing, and I will do that for you. One of the truisms of Pennsylvania is ag is king. Ag is king. You know, I'm not really that much of an interesting kind of person. But why I might be interesting to this room is that I am a United States Senator and I have a seat on the Aggregation Committee, and I'm also the chairman of the Nutrition Subcommittee as well too. And that's what I'm all going to do for you. So really don't have much else to say that I am going to be fighting for every one of you and fighting for Pennsylvania to have the best farm bill coming out of the United States Senator here. So I just want to I love to come here every year. It's just another year. Thank you, and we'll see you next year. Thank you, Nis, and I'm going to be proud to say that we will have developed the best farm bill ever by next year. So thank you very much.